So I'm happy to be here. And today we're going to talk about Mother's Day in a different way. We're going to talk about Mary and what she did in her role, but also how she empowered her son. So if we can have the first slide. And I'm going to do some metaphysical interpretations in these things for you. So the setting, so Mary is being told by the angel she is going to give birth to the Son of God. And so what she does is she listens and she hears, and she doesn't argue. So the thing that goes back is that Joseph finds out, right? And he's planning a divorce already. Like, what is he going to do? This woman's pregnant. What is going to happen? She's automatically trusting. So in Luke 1:38, she says to the angel, I am the Lord's servant. May your word to me be fulfilled. Mary's having a posture of faithful obedience here. She's saying, okay, thy will be done. If I am your servant. And so Mary signifies the woman, and it signifies our intuition. Our intuitive self is more in the feminine nature. It's also assuming a birth of a new idea, because virgin means new. It hasn't happened before. So when we're guided with things, we get these new ideas, and we're like, I can't do that, or oh, that's too scary. So, she didn't say, well, can I wait 9 months and think about it, right? She's like, I don't know that this is where I want to be in this. But it's signifying, so part of this with Mary is assuming the intuition with things. That's really kind of a nice play. That's all right. Tell them Happy Mother's Day. I love it. So, but we're given these new ideas, right? And so Mary's being told, okay, you're gonna have the Son of God. And so, but the virgin story itself is about the new, giving birth to a new idea. We have that happening in our life all the time. And we also meet it with, we don't say, I'm the Lord's servant, may your word to me be fulfilled. We don't say, I'm your servant, go ahead, I'm ready. It's like, well, let me think about it. I got to write a list. Right? How many times have we written a list, right? All right, so the next slide. And remember, really, in the Bible, it talks about Joseph considering divorce before he had the dream of what to do. So again, he was in more resistance, which is often what happens to us. And so I thought that was important. So then there's the birth of Jesus, and all of this is leading up for where Mary's going to go. So the shepherds come to Mary and Joseph because they were sent, by the angel. They were sent. And so blind faith, they followed what they were guided to do. And they followed and they went and they found Mary and Joseph and the baby there. And so first, they're so overcome with the miracle of that they trusted their guidance. They moved forward in faith, that they saw it. But not only, so when they were leaving, they're saying, we're going to go tell the others what has happened. So they start to spread the word about this experience, that they were guided to go and see this family. They were guided to do that. And then the kings have come. Some call them the Magi, have shown up. And they're bringing treasures and stuff to Jesus and saying these other wonderful things. And so, but with the shepherds and then with the kings, it says in Luke 2:19, but Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. So this is showing Mary as a woman of spiritual discernment. So that pondering in her heart was that she allowed herself to be part of this process. She didn't fight the divine. She went with it. And that she is also getting these signs along that God is also sending others to witness this. And so her pondering it in her heart is learning to trust and to say, I'm moving forward in the right direction, right? So it's like, those little validations sometimes that we need. It's like we're doing the right thing, right? And so when we get those validations, it's kind of like that pondering in our heart. It's kind of trusting where we can go with that. And it's giving ourselves that permission. Yeah, this is a new idea. And it is really uncomfortable because I've never been there before. But if it's anything like this, I don't want to go there, right? So we hold on to that fear. So this is a person that said, I have faith in the beloved. I have faith to do what I have been guided to do. I have faith to do what is mine to do. And again, sometimes we get those weird nudges, those weird callings. I mean, I tell you, I'm only here as a minister because in my meditation, God said, go be a unity minister. And I go, okay, and that's why. And then sometimes I have that God conversation. Now, why am I doing this? What was this for? What? So this is really important because the one thing that I want you to know is that the Bible has stories that address every single human condition, every fear, every argument that we have. It is a metaphysical background for all of the stories that we can relate to. All right, so it's about that. It's not necessarily about taking the teachings literally, but it's about understanding that it's giving us a guidance or a way of moving forward. All right, so this is where it gets good. So next slide, please. So, thank you. So they're going to Cana, and there's a wedding. There's the wedding, and Jesus and some of his friends, the disciples, are there. Mary's there. Family's there, and it's a big wedding. And so at this time, people travel from a long ways, and these wedding feasts went on for days and days and days. And so, Jesus is hanging out with the guys, doing his stuff. And now he hasn't really moved forward at this point in time, from a historical standpoint. There hasn't been any big thing that he's done. And so, don't know what day it is in this aspect, but he's with his friends. And Mary comes to him, and it was the third day of the wedding. And so, you can move that forward. So Mary comes to him because she notices the problem. There's no more wine. And you got to have wine for your guest. You got to have wine. So she knows, this is really, I love this story. So she goes to Jesus. And she says, they have no more wine. And what this is showing is her awareness and her compassion. And it's time. So she's telling Jesus, they have no more wine. You know what to do. You know what to do. And this is kind of like, too, how our intuition speaks to us, right? Or those moments that in somebody's life, you have watched them get to this moment where you say, it's your time. Right? You know what to do. And Jesus says, woman, and it could have been mother. I mean, why do you involve me in this? Why are you telling me there's no more wine? Why are you involving me in this at all? My hour has not yet come. Let's talk about that. So, have you ever wanted to do something, but you're going, well, I can't do that unless I get an education for that. But before I get an education for that, I need to research what that might mean. And then I need to look at this, and I need to see what the field is for me to do that. Right? So it's like, I know people that for years have been writing a book, but they're still organizing their desk. Right? They're still doing research on the internet. They're still doing things. They're not taking that time now. So when the desire is put into us, we often procrastinate it. And that's exactly what Jesus was doing. If I do something now, people are going to expect a lot of me. If I start writing, I could mess it up. People might think I'm foolish. What if it doesn't work? How many times have you had that in your life? Mary doesn't listen to him. Mary doesn't listen to him, which is the intuition within us, that what I call the God voice in us, is it speaking, right? Is there's that thing that you've been guided to do that you maybe still aren't doing, but you still hear that whisper that's telling you, right? That's because it knows what's yours to do, and it has utmost faith in you. And Mary is coming with this awareness of it is time. It's time. It's time to move forward. It's time to trust. It's time. And it's kind of like, if not now, when? Right? If not now, when is the time? And so we can go back into the book of Esther, where they were going to, her husband's army, the king's army, was going to take and annihilate the Jews because there had been a decree, because one of his right-hand men decided that he didn't like the Hebrews anymore, wanted to massacre them, and the king gave his signature. And Esther, who was the queen, was also a Jew that they didn't know about. They kept it secret because her cousin had told her, cousin/uncle, they can't decide in the Bible, where he was. But he's telling her, you need to talk to the king. They're going to kill us. And she said, you have to be summoned to talk to the king. And he said, at a time such as this, maybe this is why you're the queen. Right? So she goes back and she fasts and she prays, and she goes to the king and she tells him what's going on. And it's a longer story than that. But anyway, he can't undo the decree, but he says the Jews can take up swords against them so they can fight back. And that day is still celebrated. So, but I want to say that this story kind of follows different times. But if not now, when? So, honey, if you don't believe in yourself now, when are you going to believe in yourself? The more you procrastinate, the more reason you're going to have to not believe in yourself. So, next slide. So this is where Mary's stepping up. So she looks to the servants and she says, do whatever he tells you. Just do it. Whatever he tells you to do, you do it. She's not saying we're going to have a discussion, or I'm taking him over here to time out. And having this. She's saying to the servants, do whatever he tells you. And so this is a powerful metaphysical pivot. Mary's unwavering faith is what activates this miracle. Because she's saying, I have faith in you. I have trust in you. And at a time such as this is when you should step up. Take a deep breath and think about how powerful that is. And that this happens to us on a regular basis. Because our soul cannot not grow. It wants to unfold. It wants to expand. It wants to become. And we're going, no. Well, I got other things to do. The garbage needs to be taken out. I got to take the dog to the groomer. I can't think about that now. We will come up with every single reason we can to postpone stepping into our glory. Trusting that we can do what is ours to do. Having faith that what we are being guided to do is not a cruelty of the mind. And that the divine isn't going to tell us to do something that we can't do. All right, so next one. So miracle unfolds. So Jesus said to the servants, how hesitantly or how much in faith, we don't know. But he said, fill the jars with water. And the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. So the master of the banquet, so the steward, that had done it, and the transformation through obedience. So the water turned into wine. And the master of the banquet had said at one point, usually we use the best wine first. We don't save it for last. So it was the best wine that they had had. But what Jesus did here in Cana of Galilee was the first of the signs through which he revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. This is where he really took action, and his disciples believed in him. So I'm going to take it this way for you guys, right, from this metaphysical perspective. When we're guided to move forward, to try something new, to be uncomfortable, to grow, to give birth to something we haven't given birth to before, that's really uncommon in our mind, the disciples that are agreeing or following Jesus are the thoughts in our mind, getting our thoughts to believe that we can follow the intuition, that we can follow that divine voice, that we can follow the God within and move it forward. And this is what Jesus was teaching. One of the things, what did Jesus say? Far greater things you can do. And we take Jesus to this place where, in some cases, I say we've got him more elevated than God. You know, we really, and maybe because he's something that we can see and put a face to, or whatever that vision is. But Jesus wasn't there to say, let me guide you. And when he talks about let me guide you, he's talking about the Christ within. That's where he's coming from, the divine. God is speaking through him to say, let me guide you. I'm talking there. I'm speaking to you. I'm telling you, you don't have to suffer. I'm telling you that you can be whole. I'm telling you that you can be healthy. And that's the wonderful thing about unity teachings, that affirmative prayer and meditation. That's practicing those, believing in those, having faith that Spirit is our source and our supply can change not only our life, but the world around us. So we are not without power. We are not without the power to be creative, to unfold. The intuition is that feminine energy within us speaking, right? And it is allowing ourselves to put it into action and take it to that creative process to birth that new idea. And in this moment, I'm not going to argue with her anymore. Okay, Spirit, I give up. I'm just going to do what you tell me to do, and we'll see who's right. Ever been there, right? So it's allowing that energy to move forward. But turning the water into wine is what we have the opportunity to do. It's taken our regular, what we'll call ordinary, boring, bland life or an unhappy moment and allowing a wonderful new beginning, a new birth to occur, to grow again, to step into our truth, that we are co-creators. And through Christ, all things are possible. So, I hope you enjoyed this story. Happy Mother's Day to all of us. And until next time, namaste.